Alright, so what we're going to do today is go over the hair and fur modifier and apply it to a ground, a piece of dirt, to simulate grass. And what we're going to do to start off with is create a plane, and we're going to create that plane on our grid here. Set the parameters of that plane to about 100 by 100. And segments, we're going to want those pretty high. Go about 25 by 25, and I'll show you why in a second. Remember, you can press F4 after you right-click, finish the creation process. F4, you can see I have lots of segments on here. More segments, the better, and you're going to see why. We're going to go to the Modify panel, and we're going to rename this first to Dirt or Ground, either one. And we're going to place a Wave modifier on here. So under the modifier list, you're going to scroll all the way down, go to Wave. You're going to see a little bit of a wave starting here. Amplitude 1, you go to 6. Okay. And wavelength, change that to about 100. Now you can change these parameters to whatever you want. In fact, I'm going to change mine again. We're going to go 5, and wavelength is 100. Okay. But you can easily see how this can be turned into a piece of water that is waving. Okay. You can animate the phase. Okay. So actually, you know what? I'll just show you that since you guys know how to animate right now. Turn on auto key with that selected. Right click to create a key at 0, and go to 100 and change the phase to 10. And if you press play, you get a pretty turbulent wave. You can see it goes from phase 0 to 10 up there. So what we're going to do is go to there. We're going to change this phase to 1. Very slow wave. And there you go. You got a nice wavy water simulation. But we don't want that, so go back to 0 and delete all of these keys. We just want a piece of dirt. That still looks a little bad, so let's go to 4. Let's go to 4, wavelength 100. Okay, we're going to apply a material to this. Let's go down to a standard, bring in a standard material. It's going to rename the standard material to dirt, and we're just going to change the color of it. So go to diffuse and get a nice earthy green color, earthy brown color. It's good. And we're going to apply that. So we click the radio and drag it on there. Excellent. Okay. Alright, next thing we're going to do is apply a hair and fur modifier. So we got that selected. We can turn off auto key if it's off. And go to hair and fur world space modifier. When you do that, you're going to see pieces of strands of hair that are on there. Doesn't look like much right now. You're going to go to tools under the hair modifier list and presets load, and you're going to see some presets of different styles of hair. We're going to go with tall grass. As you can see, we got some grass that's on there. And when you render this entire scene will be full of grass, but for the computer's sake, it doesn't put them all on here right now. Now this is something you may want to save periodically throughout the process, because it will tax your computer a little bit more, and you don't want to have your application crash and do it all over again. Okay, so our grass is on there. We're going to minimize selection. We don't need that. Minimize tools. We don't need that. We don't need styling. General parameters. This is the thick of it. Hair count. We don't need 15,000 pieces. Let's go to 8,000 pieces. Cut it to just about half. Hair segments. That's how many pieces of each grass is shown. We'll leave it at 5. Let's go to 6. Make it a little bit more complex. Scale is the overall size of your grass. We're going to go 60. We're going to make them a little bit taller. If you wanted a shorter, more cut grass, you could drop it down to 40 or even shorter. We're going to make ours pretty wavy. We're going to go 60. Root thick is how thick it is on the bottom. We're going to make ours 11. Okay, and the tip thick, 0 means it goes to a point. We're going to make it just a little thick, so go 0.08. 0.07 would be better. And once you get all that done, go down to you could shrink that, go to the materials parameters. Materials parameters will give you colors of your grass as well as how glossy it is, a few different variations of hue, how different they are. So if you want them all the same color, you change this to 100. It won't look as good as if you have a little bit of variation in there. Mutants will be absolutely different amount of colors that are in there. In this case, white, we can actually change that to a more yellowish dead grass, and mutant percentage will just go 4%, just to get a little variety. You can see some popped up there. Alright, specular and glossiness we're going to change to make it a little bit shiny, maybe dewy, 90 and 30. And now we're done with this scene. We're going to add some lights because we want this to have a little bit realistic hue to it. So we're going to go up to the create, we're going to go lights, we're going to go to free lights. Ask if it's a photometric light. Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead and click yes. And we're going to add some lights in here. Alright, we're back. We're going to add some lights on here. Bring this up a little bit off of our scene. Modify its intensity right now. It's at 1500. We don't want that. We want something about, let's go 70. Make sure we got some lights coming off. We do. Okay. And shadows, and we're going to make a few of these. So one, we're going to make copies, and we're going to make 2 copies of them. Excellent. Make this middle one the weakest, make that about 40, and this one we're going to go a little bit different, a little 50. Okay. Okay. And we're going to add a camera to our scene, the target camera. Just above the grass. Let's change this to it a little bit higher than that, and we're going to pull it back a little bit too. Alright, I'm going to press H to bring up my list. I'm going to grab the camera target. It'd be hard to find in that. I'm going to drag that down a little bit here, and we're going to raise the camera up just a little bit more. Okay, so I think I'm happy with this. What I'm going to do is render this, but you're going to see it's going to take forever to render, and that's okay. As soon as you click render, you're going to start this. Click cancel right away. If you haven't saved it yet, you probably should. I am going off of an unsaved, and it looks like it just crashed. So make sure you save it right before you do that. Hopefully you watched. Hopefully you saw that. I don't think I'm going to be able to save this. What I want you to point out is this final gather precision, and you cancel it. This draft, you want to turn this down to off. You want to disable the final gather. It's not needed for what we're doing here. So turn that off to this last mark here, and then click the render button again, and you will get a nice grass scene. Alright, so I've recreated my scene pretty much where it was. Before going into the render, make sure it's on camera. So you're going to go rendering, render setup, and this is your main options here, camera. We're going to go indirect illumination, enable final rather, draft. That's fine. You can go ahead and turn that off. We don't need that at all. And go ahead and render it. I'm going to pause this and finish, and unpause it once it finishes rendering. And at finished rendering, here we are with a nice grassy view. Grass kind of going all over the place. You can see it's a little bit wild, tall grass. So if you lowered the grass, it would be more cut. And that's it.